Yeah. You're probably. I mean, again, let's move on now to Quantumania because we're sort of gonna be talking about this in a general sense. But I mean, Quantumania is now the launch pad for Phase 5.
Is that Quantumania or Quantumania?
Don't start, bloody hell, Yoda! You should have checked me on this.
What the fuck is that?
I only checked the second half of the word. I don't check the first half.
Phil.
Right, there we go. No, I'm sorry. Right, I've got it right now. Okay, and there we go. Right.
For those of you only listening, he just changed it to Ant-Man 3.
Seamless. That was seamless.
Too shy.
Okay, so who's seen it? I saw it. Who else saw it? You saw it. You two haven't seen it. Okay.
I can't imagine Sean going to see it.
Don't bother.
I mean, the review I wrote up, I actually went to the cinema to see it because I thought the trailer made it look quite decent. I thought, I'll treat myself. I haven't been to the cinema since the Batman, and that put me off for the last year because it was garbage. And so I went to see it, and like I say, it literally from the opening, I was already rolling my eyes because at the beginning of it, the first part of it is kind of you're in the quantum realm, and it turns out that Janet met Kang, and he's like, okay. Then it cuts to Scott, and Scott's like living a happy life and everything else. But it turns out his daughter, who in the previous movies was just a regular daughter, has now become a professor science of quantum mechanics and is mapping the quantum realm.
Don't forget, she joined Antifa.
Oh wow, awesome!
And again,
really?
so yeah, well, in the film,
I don't name it, but yeah, that's pretty much she says she's been arrested for protesting because they're not helping homeless people, and when Scott picks her up, she goes, "Well, it was mostly peaceful." I'm like, oh Jesus fucking Christ!
Oh fuck, mate.
See, that I didn't even register, but to me, it was just the fact that she was now a scientist who is capable of understanding quantum.
She's an ultra genius, yes.
Yeah, and again, it's and immediately I was thinking, oh, great. So Ant-Man has now been replaced by another teenage girl who's brilliant and better at him than everything, like Iron Man, like Hawkeye, like she,
like
Paris comes, and then and so like I say, from the outset, I was thinking, oh, great, here we go. And that does play all the way through, that she is just as good as Ant-Man with everything else. There's another female character who leads a revolution against Kang, and of course she's brilliant at everything. So the woke is all the way through it. But for me, the whole movie was it was too much of a spectacle. The whole thing was just, the original Ant-Man, I like the original Ant-Man because it is a science fiction film, but it's a heist movie, and there's kind of not much science in it. And most of it is kind of based in this kind of reality. Whereas this was a bigger spectacle, I thought, as Endgame. And I was just thinking, right, so where do they build from this? How does this get any, how are you going to make season phase 5 bigger from here? And it was far too much. I liked Ant-Man 1 and 2. I rated both of them, and I still enjoy them. But this one, it was I put it as in, if you had the Captain America trilogy, and you had Captain America, the First Avenger, then Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and then Captain America versus Thanos and the entire army, it would be like, well, no, that's ridiculous. That's not going to work. And that's what this was. Ant-Man 1 and 2 were just sort of like quite low-key sci-fi action films, whereas this one was like I say, it was on the same level of epicness of Endgame at points. And I just, like I say...
And the build-up.
Yeah, but like I say, it was too much. Way too much. Far too much. What did you make of it, Yoda?
I mean, there was not as much woke except for that thing at the beginning, and then for some reason, inexplicably, Hank Pym compares ants. Granted, they're a little bit more evolved in the quantum universe through nonsense technical babble, but he compares it to socialism, which is just like, what the fuck? But it's like a throwaway line. But tonally, like, for one, it's boring. I mean, really, it's like on a level of Thor: The Dark World, as far as just, I don't care about anything that's happening in here. And then characters make bizarre decisions. Like they keep talking about Michelle Pfeiffer's character has not told them anything about the quantum realm. And so she's in there and she's like, don't go in there. You can't go in there. It's like, well, first of all, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you were perfectly fine with him going in there and doing some experimenting in the quantum realm. That's how he got stuck in there. And
Yeah.
but now it's apparently
Saw the blip, yeah.
the worst thing ever. Don't go near it. It's so dangerous. But she's never told them why, never talked to them about it. And then when they're down there, there's too much of that. She just doesn't explain anything until it's time for the flashback. Like when there's obvious moments, like, what is going on here? She's like, I'll tell you later. That kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
And then I guess she fucked Bill Murray down there while she was down there. That was a throwaway gag. I don't need to hear that.
I've been trying to avoid spoilers. Spoilers if you haven't seen
I
it.
don't give a fuck. I'm spoiling it so you don't go see it, because it's really the tone. Really what bothered me more was the joke tone versus like you have that leader of the resistance, the woman who is cares for her people, and she's very angry about Michelle Pfeiffer having left, and she's trying to fight Kang. Kang apparently runs the quantum realm, which again, none of this makes any sense to me based on what we've seen before, but whatever.
No.
And she's serious the whole time, and you can understand, like, you feel that she is, you understand why she's serious. People are dying, people are getting, and you'll see people get killed, or you see people get hurt really badly, and then they just, the Rudd or the main characters will turn into some sort of joke, and it's like kind of off-putting. That's, you're like, we're gonna put in the Marvel humor, but it's like, it's real. It's like people are dying here. Is it serious or not?
That's what got me. When I saw it, the cinema I was in was probably about 3/4 full, and several occasions a joke was made, and just there was nothing from the audience. Just didn't laugh at all.
It wasn't very good humor, but even if it was, it was inappropriate sometimes.
The same with when MODOK turns up and he's monologuing, and Ant-Man just interrupts him, and again, it wasn't funny.
We're going to show how silly the name is. We're going to make fun of the names that are part of the Marvel Universe because that's our thing now. Stop it. Okay, look, I don't particularly like MODOK as a character. I think he was always ridiculous looking, even back in the comics and everything. I just think it's a dumb look. But I actually like the idea that it's Darren Cross. Nobody else seems to, so that's just me. But I don't have a particular give a damn about MODOK, so I'm not really that worried about it. But I thought it was a good idea to make him, because of the way he ended up in the quantum universe at the end. I was like, okay, that's kind of an interesting, but they did nothing with him. They just turned him into a one-note joke. And then when he actually changes and he saves the day and he's dying, and they just kind of treat him with contempt and jokes, I'm like going, you had a chance to do something with this character and make me care, and you just shit on him.
The bit that got me with MODOK is they have a flashback to the original Ant-Man where he dies and his suit kind of crushes him. And I thought, right, he's dead. They showed this man. I thought, right, there's dead. There's no way he's gone to the quantum realm and somebody's gone, oh, reckon I can fix him up. No. That guy's dead.
I would agree.
Like human beings, like just a giant head with like little arms.
Because he got rebuilt by Kang.
Like his body shrank more than his head. I don't know. It's all bizarre.
So he's the original Ant-Man.
No, he was Ant-Man's first baddie.
He was the baddie, and MODOK is now. He was the basically the Derek.
Yellow jacket. He was yellow jacket in the first Ant-Man.
Well, you kept saying the original Ant-Man. I was like, was there?
I meant the original Ant-Man movie.
The original movie.
Yeah.
Maybe you concentrated, Sean, and not play with your phone.
Hey, look, I don't blame him for being bored. You know what? I'm gonna give him a pass on this one because it's the movie is that bad. It doesn't. I liked in the first Ant-Man movie, Sean. They made the tech like he had to have the helmet. And they had to have the helmet because when they grew or shrank, I figured that they grew and shrank the oxygen with them, or else they wouldn't be able to breathe. And they never took off the helmet when they were small or when they were big. But now that shit's all out the window.
It's 'cause that's the quantum realm. It doesn't matter.
Actors got big.
Why is there air down in the quantum realm? How are people living down there? When they showed it before, it was like it was this real surreal place with just nothing but imagery, which was interesting. But now it's just, I guess it's just a world.
Oh, it's not just a world. It's like an entire universe full of millions of people that are living in cities and everything else. And again, to me, it was far too epic. And the fact that, like you say, with Janet, she's been down there for 30 years. And when she's come back, she didn't say, oh, I met loads of people down there and blah, blah, blah. And also her sort of saying, oh, also there's a guy down there, if he escapes, there's going to destroy the universe. It's like,
so we got to be very careful.
Probably should have mentioned that, just so
it's ridiculous if they didn't.
Yeah.
So with the flashbacks, did they de-age Pfeiffer?
No. Not well, I suppose a little bit, but I don't know. She still looks pretty good.
I think they de-aged her throughout the entire movie a little bit, just because she's vain. I don't know. She's fine in it, but the character is just written badly. Yeah, you could have had Kang like reaching out, and they could have like said, "Oh my God, there's something that's happening in the quantum universe. Is this the Kang guy you told me about?" It's like, yeah, I think he's trying to break out. We thought we left him in there. Well, we better do something, and then things go wrong, and then they end up in there. Bang, fixed, right? I mean, that's just 5 minutes off the top of my head. It would have made more sense that way, but no, it's because she couldn't tell them anything for reasons, and it's like. The science is all gone out of it. They don't give a fuck.
Well, I was going to say, you say about the science that Casey wants to study the quantum realm, so she's obviously talked to Michelle Pfeiffer about it, but not in enough detail to explain.
I think she only talked to Hank. I think she only talked to Hank because they said something along the lines of, "Why didn't you tell me you were working on this?" Like, well, you wouldn't talk to any of us about it. Which was like,
it was a throwaway.
Did you say something?
And it just. Like I say, the whole thing was just a mess to me. It was the fact that they were cutting back from Casey and Scott to the other group back and forth. The whole bit with Bill Murray was, talk about tagged on. That was a DVD extra. That whole sequence.
With
the Bill
literally one coming for a day, put on a jacket, and they sat him down at a table, and he did everything. And then
because I compared him to the Grandmaster in Ragnarok of Jeff Goldblum. And you got Jeff Goldblum's character, and you got, it was good. Whereas, like I say, he just sort of turned up, made a few one-liners, implied that they had sex, and then he left, and that was it.
That was a cameo at best.
Yeah.
So what was his character in it though? Why was his character in the quantum world?
I don't know.
He was he called himself a lord at some point in time, and he was. Right. Leader of the revolution, but then he sold out to Kang or something. Again, couldn't tell you.
See, what they should have done when they got a ride from that weird tribe, and she had to fight the guy and stabbed him, but they grew out his arm and then they hugged. That should have been the guy, and then he stayed with them the whole time. That should have been the Bill Murray character all along.
Yeah,
and because he would have explained it. That would have made more sense to me. That would have been more natural. No, they don't do that. They do, well, we got to get a big name in here so we can put his face on the trailer. And then this is supposed to be the big introduction to Kang. But I don't think this is the Kang that they're going to be fighting. Because one, I think he's dead, I think. And two, he said that he got banished here by all the other Kangs because he was just too much Kang. Like it's a council of Ricks, I guess. Or something like that. Yeah. But I'm like going, what? Well, first of all, just kill him if he's that bad. Why are you taking all the time from the quantum realm?
Also, just to mention on that, they banish him to the quantum realm in his spaceship that can travel across like the quantum realm and multi-universes, but they disable it. And it's like, Right, so he's not going to repair that and get out and kill everyone. Brilliant. You know, if you're going to banish somebody, don't banish them with their best weapon. You know? We banished Kim Jong. We banished Kim Jong Il to an island with a load of nuclear weapons, but we've taken all the keys out, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, what's happening, lads? Because from Marvel, I mean, I've made no secret of the fact I'm not a massive Marvel fan. I think their films are 50 good, 50 bad. But you've got to admire what they did for everything up until Endgame. So what the fuck has gone wrong from being like literally A+, then hitting Endgame, and then them literally going all the way down to like probably D or an E grade? I mean, how have they not managed to continue this streak and just have such a huge drop in quality and storytelling and direction and CGI? I mean,
to me, it's kind of like that Kevin Feige, Feige, wherever you want to go, but he had a plan up to the end of phase one and up to Endgame, and now he's just kind of bringing Kang. He's kind of just like checked out. He's got a decent paycheck for the whole lot.
Yeah, but what I don't understand, Phil, is that you had with Captain Marvel, you obviously had the Krolls involved. Is it the Krolls? They are the Krolls, aren't they?
Skrull.
Yeah.
Krolls, that's it. So then you're meant to be leading into this whole secret invasion where you don't know who's who, and you don't know if some of the heroes are really Skrulls or real heroes. And it's like, well, so you've got that plan, so that's the path we're going on. And bear in mind, secret invasion is actually still happening. And it's like, you've got like Endgame, Skrulls, and this storyline, but you're down here with the likes of She-Hulk and female Black Panther and female Iron Man, and it's like, what?
Hawkeye and all this other stuff. Yeah. But I think, I don't know. I mean, just looking at it all, you think, okay, well, you started out with Iron Man, and you really don't know whether or not it's going to work or whether it's going to be a success. It turns out to be a runaway success, 300 some odd million domestic, 600 million worldwide or something, whatever it was. So now, okay, we're gotten started. Let's do these others that we wanted to do. We have a basis. We have a framework of a plan. We know that we're going to do something. They didn't know they were going to do Infinity Stones even until phase 2. And they brought in Thanos at the end to just smile, but they didn't, because if they'd been thinking about the Infinity Stones more, then Loki's staff would have been portrayed differently in that first movie, I think. So fine, they hit gold. Avengers makes $1 billion or whatever worldwide, $1.5 billion. Now they're off to the races. Okay, this is working. Let's make our plan. We're going to do phase 2 and phase 3. We're going to do the whole Infinity Stone saga. Everybody agreed? Yes. All right, do the Infinity Stone saga. Great. So then that goes to Endgame. And really, there's not a bad movie in them. Captain Marvel, okay, notwithstanding. But even Thor the Dark World has its place in the canon. It's maybe not super, but there's really not a terrible movie in phase 1, 2, and 3. There's some that are much better than others, of course, but they're all pretty, at the very least, watchable and entertaining. Now, okay, we're done. What do we do? Everybody's leaving. The cast is aging out. We've got to figure out how to keep this together, keep the story going, but we can't use the same characters. What are we going to do? And then on top of that, you infuse all these woke lunatics into there, and nobody can agree, and nobody has a plan, and you end up with this phase 4 mess that doesn't make Moon Knight or Werewolf at Night
tie together.
What is going on? I don't know. Now you get into Quantumania, and you could kind of say it's a return to form if you say Thor Dark World levels at best, but mostly it's just boring and it has a lot of problems. And now we don't care anymore. And it's like you should have ended with Endgame, maybe No Way Home, but I'll throw in the last 2 Spider-Man movies on the rest of it, and then just say then you're done, and come up with something different, or let it simmer for another 5-6 years and reboot. I don't know.
That's the thing. Is like you say, if they'd have just sat down and thought, let's just put it on hold for a bit, maybe get some other products out there and everything else, and just like I say, just let it die down for a bit. But they just had to try and keep it going, and they kept it going with things like the Eternals. and Black Panther 2 and stuff like this. And again, it's just
You're missing what I was saying. Sorry, is it? They introduced the Skrulls and the whole Secret Invasion story arc with Captain Marvel, and then it's just like, yeah, we're just going to leave that over there.
oh, I see, and
concentrate on female Black Panther, female Iron Man, female Sheep, female Hulk, blah blah blah.
But that's what I'm saying. You've got the mix of lunatics along with the people who are trying to come up with a plan. And so the lunatics are getting their stuff, and the people with the plan are getting their stuff. But even the people with the plan are second and third. The people have been really successful, like the Russos. They're moving on to other shit, So now you get people that aren't as talented. They're trying to come up with a plan, and they have to deal with all the woke lunatics. And you've got the craziness. Yeah, throw in the pandemic if you want. I don't care. You've got the leadership mess. It's flailing right now. They don't know what to do. And I'm sure they were under, well, we have to make money, and this makes money. So
maybe with Secret Wars, maybe with Secret Wars, we're going to find out that apparently, new Black Panther, Letitia Wright, whatever, is actually one of the Skrull, and
It's too late, Phil, because no one gives a fuck. No one cares about Ironheart. No one gives a shit about She-Hulk or female Black Panther. And obviously, I'm presuming, I know you're not giving away spoilers, but I'd put money on the fact that Scott Lang probably dies, his daughter takes over the mantle as Ant-Woman, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, but my point is it ended with Endgame. It already introduced Secret Wars to carry on to this big story arc. And they've just they've just gone, yeah, forget we even mentioned Secret Wars. Let's concentrate on this shit. So it's clearly a problem with management.
Oh, well,
it is.
You use the word there yourself, Matt. Management.
They're flailing for the next big Thanos, is what it is.
Yeah,
they don't.
And also, I was going to say with Kang himself, I don't know who Kang is. I've kind of briefly heard of him. That's it. But
you never heard of Martin Luther King, dude?
Oh, I've heard of Martin Luther King. But no, not the Kang in this one.
Great. Mr. Content of your character turns out to be the big bad of Disney. That kind of actually makes sense when you think about it.
I think I might have watched the wrong film. I watched Malcolm X. No, was Malcolm X Martin Luther King?
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
Same guy.
All right. I don't know. Well, no.
They all look the same to feel. And you can't blame it.
So anyway, right? No, stop it, right? So basically, Eddie Murphy, Ant-Man 3, right? Was sorry, Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry. But with Kang,
derailing, sir.
He kind of came over as this super being who could control things with his mind and everything else, and yet he couldn't get his engine back, and he had to have Scott steal it, which was ridiculous because he was basically, can you just go and pick it up for me? But he was sort of super strong.
No, Phil, could you go in there, make 8 billion more use, including the guy at the donut shop for no reason?
But yeah, randomly,
and then everybody come back together and then bring the thing. Why?
Yeah.
Because we want to hurt our visual effects artists as much as possible.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those guys are going to earn their minimum wage on this film. All right.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Almost like his contract, he gets 1% every time there's a version of him on there.
Yeah.
But again,
commission basis.
Kang himself was completely kind of impotent, even though he seemed to be this massively great power. And I didn't get it. And then people are sort of saying, "Oh no," there's an end credit scene where it's kind of the Kang, like you say, the Council of Ricks get together of these Kangs. They're all sort of like, well, we've got to sort this out. Council of Kangs. Council of Kangs. Again,
it's hard. It's so hard not to laugh every time you say it.
I'm starting to warm up to this.
So these Councillor Kangs. But with it, it just, again, I don't know if he was an enemy or sympathetic or just stupid or I didn't get him.
Well, he's basically a guy. He's a human who has kick-ass tech. You take away his tech, and you can just punch him in the face, right?
Iron Man.
I mean, how is you look at well, yeah, Iron Man, but you look at Thanos as an antagonist, right? He's a genius level intellect. He's Stark level intellect, and he can
fight the
kick the
Hulk.
shit out of the Hulk. Yeah, I mean and he's 10 feet tall. And it's like, okay, that guy
is a threat.
Formidable threat.
He'd make a great basketball player.
He would, but then you look
Things
at
have turned out
Kang.
differently for Thanos. If only his parents had encouraged him into basketball, we wouldn't have.
Focused his energies into sports, you know.
Yeah. No, if only he graduated art school.
Right, now go on.
I mean, first of all, if it's a whole bunch of different Kangs, I'm like going, well, then that dilutes. Is it? Which Kang? Will the real Kang please stand up? I don't know.
No, I'm Kang.
Is this threatening?
I'm Kang.
I am Kang. I am Kangticus. Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.